Hoogsteder. Yes, pretty close. Nice. Of course, yes. Thanks for having me. Good times. Good. Yeah, I've been seeing everybody that you've been having on, and just you've had some really great guests over. So I was kind of I was kind of like I saw you had Nate Smith over like 2 weeks ago from the 80/20 drummer. It's like, oh man, I got to follow. Well, yeah, I mean, he'll come up. He'll be there soon as well. I'm sure. But it's like, oh, I got to follow up that guy. Shoot. Okay. All right. Yes. Yes. Yeah. 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 It was all. Oh man. Well, occupied I am. Um, my primary gig is I write music for video games, and I do a lot of like video game audio work. That's my main occupation, and I produce a lot of songs for people. Um, I help other composers with cool projects. So that's what I'm busy with. A lot of video game composing. Um, um, well, recently we did work on Lego Brawls. That is like an Apple arcade game. We're like, we're doing some music for that, and like you can hear some of my music in there. We do a lot of work for Arknights. That is like a turn-based strategy game from China. That's a big one. What else would you be able to know? The company I work for, we does a lot of work for Overwatch. That's cool stuff. Hearthstone, that kind of thing. Um, I have personally have not worked a lot on Hearthstone, but is one of the titles that we do work on. And let me think what else you could know. I'll think of some things here and there. But there's definitely we do a ton of music, and it's a lot of fun, and lots of stuff coming out soon. And on top of that, I do some audio implementation for Zynga lately. That's been a lot of fun. Just like doing the design there, you know, making sure that all the audio is in the right place, that everything triggers at the right time, and just that everything sounds great. So it's been a lot of fun. And I play drums for Email. Email is a band here in Orange County, and we do a lot of like organic slash digital hybrid music, like and with Emmanuel Ventura Cruz leading the band on cello, and I play electronic drums and synths, and I produce a lot for Email as well. So it's a lot of fun, lots of cool stuff. We just released our second album actually a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you saw that, but that was a lot of fun too. Oh no! Oh no! I hear you really well. Well, what you could try is I know that you can add a new source that's just like that's your audio source. You can just also you would also be able to like set up your microphone directly in OBS, no? As a source.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Good.
What's
Nice to
up,
meet you,
Joris?
Brandon. Just
Nice to meet you.
hanging.
Um, cause see, boom, there's my audio right here, and it's
Right.
coming out my left. And
We're not live yet.
no, we're hella live.
Oh shit.
But yeah,
Go
we're still,
down.
still trying to work on my my audio thing here. But I guess
Go to
Zoom.
options. Go
See
go
how
to options. Oh yeah.
it's not coming out of Zoom.
So what if you go back up to your Sapphire? Maybe it's
Oh,
muted
there you
a lot.
go. They say it's working now. What the
Oh.
fudge? If everyone can let me know that my voice is here, I'm pretty sure it's here. It looks like it is. I don't know what I did, but it worked. Maybe I just gotta
Yeah.
open up Loopback. Okay, I think that's the deal. I have to open. I have to make sure. Maybe that's what it is. Loopback's gotta happen. Gotta open that up.
All
Okay,
right. Glad
we're
we got it working.
we're back. This probably means that we didn't get the intro again, but that's all good. Anyway, welcome Joris, Brandon. Brandon meet Joris. Joris meet Brandon. Um, all the way from Long Beach, California, all the way from Orange County, California, all the way from Austin, Texas. We're all three here, the trifecta of drumming right now.
All right.
In the house. So, let's see. Okay. So Joris, let's talk about your setup, man. What are you rocking right now?
Okay. So 2020 hit, right? We all know how that went down. Um, so I kind of started thinking about like how to reinvent my drumming setup. Um, I in the in at EMIL where I play drums, I was always just working with like triggers and the SPDSX, which works fine, but obviously has its limitations. Um, and I reinvented the setup, and I am starting to use Sunhouse a lot lately. The Sunhouse sensory percussion triggers, and dude, it's been so much fun. And to be honest, I'm using it way more for my video game music than I ever expected. Like often I just do like, when I'm programming my video game tunes, I just like sit behind a kit and just do like another layer of just like Sunhouse percussion for that like organic triggering vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I've been doing. And I'm just like I'm experimenting a lot with like having these machines all talk to each other and just like having a jam session going that just sounds like a full piece of music while I'm just playing by myself. So earlier this year, I bought the Pulsar 23 by Soma Labs. I don't know if you know that. Like it's like a drum synthesizer with all these modular inputs. And so recently I started like fooling around getting that to work with Sunhouse percussion and like having those things trigger each other. That's been it's been interesting. It's very it's early stages, but I'm telling you, if I can bring that stuff to the stage, that's gonna be a party. That's gonna be a party. When everything opens back up and I can bring that kind of stuff to an EMIL show, like it's gonna be sick.
Can you explain to our listeners and our viewers here like what maybe if they're not familiar with Sunhouse, what that is?
Okay, so what Sunhouse does, if we compare it to a regular trigger, and a regular trigger just takes a pulse from your hit and converts that into like a MIDI signal or just like a control voltage and then triggers a sample. The big difference between a regular trigger and the Sunhouse sensory percussion is that the Sunhouse functions much more as a microphone, and your recording or your hit goes through their software. The software interprets it in a certain way. It takes your audio and it listens to like the pitch or like the position. It mostly listens to the pitch, but also like the amplitude and all that kind of stuff, and then determines like where on the head you hit it, or if it's in a certain zone on your drum, it figures out like how high the pitch is, and then basically modifies the samples that you want to play with. So you can divide your drum into, I think, like 8 or 10 zones, just based on what that particular like position on the drum sounds like,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can map samples to that while you're also modifying those little samples on that particular zone in real time. So it's super deep. You can literally like link everything to everything. It's super modular. You can even have external LFOs modifying your samples while you're playing. So not everything has to come from your playing. You can also just automate things. Um, all in all, long story short, it just makes for a very like organic feeling, and kind of like a unpredictable performance, which is super awesome.
Very improvisatory. Do you okay? So I used to use Sunhouse, and I'm curious to know how many zones that you're able to get out consistently per drum. Like, does it vary per drum, or is it pretty consistent? Like to get 5 to 6 zones per drum.
It's pretty consistent, and if I can be honest, I've also just used like other triggers, like apart from the Sunhouse, like the actual Sunhouse trigger.
Mm?
I've also used just like my SPDSX trigger as the input for Sunhouse, and it still catches differences between like whether I'm hitting it on the rim or anywhere else. So it just, the software for me is where the software really blows my mind in how like accurate it can be, because even if I'm just using a regular microphone or like a regular trigger, I can still make stuff work. But with the actual Sunhouse machine, I can get pretty consistent zones. But I will say, like, for the most awesome performances, I don't want to be too nitpicky on it, and I kind of just want to blend zones together and just get like a really expressive performance versus,
Sure.
because if you completely separate the zones, then I don't know why I wouldn't just be playing an SPDSX, because there you have also zones, so you can just trigger samples, you know?
Sure.
So like the beauty of it is like the blending of it all, and it's just like, like organically like shifting in certain timbres and that kind of thing.
Man, that sounds, it sounds super interesting. Like, in the right hands, like those triggers are just limitless almost,
Yeah.
when you think about, like, I know you can do a lot of very like unique automation, like if your velocity goes up, your pitch will also go up or go down. And you can, like,
Yes.
you have a lot of that would, I guess that would be called, you'd have lots of modulation points, like with the automation, and I think that's really interesting. That's something I never got to. I still have the software, which is great, and I'm always encouraged when I hear people saying they have so much success with them, and especially you using not the Sunhouse triggers. I know you've said in the past you've also used just like normal like piezo like contact mics.
Yeah, yes, because like not every, for instance, there's no hi-hat trigger for Sunhouse, right?
Mm.
But like I was like, I want my full performance captured. I want to see what it can do if I just like slap a piezo trigger or a piezo element on my hi-hat and just like route that into the Sunhouse software. And yeah, you're not gonna get 10 zones out of a single piezo element,
Right.
but it's enough to at least be able to do like the modulation thing where your velocity will determine the pitch of a sample, stuff like that. So you can still technically do like trappy hi-hats with Sunhouse software and a piezo pickup on your hi-hat. It's pretty sick.
That's so cool. And you can also, I mean, the rate, it can also be like if you go fast, if you play it like lots and lots of notes, that can be a modulation point, right?
Yes, it's I think it's your playing speed. It's it's playing speed, velocity, timbre. So like if you hit like a higher pitched, a higher pitched zone or whatever, it will change. And there is I think there's external. I think that's like the four. Maybe I'm missing something, but I think like that's the four modulation slots that you can use. But then you can also have them influence each other. So like the possibilities are really endless.
Yeah.
It's
The
I
fact
will
that they
say
talk to
sometimes
each
it's
other.
kind of like it's kind of like intimidating sometimes, like start something from scratch because you know how many possibilities there are, and you can just like go down that rabbit hole.
Right.
But then at some point you got to be like, all right, now I got to actually play and create something,
Man, I've definitely nerded out on those Mason Self videos. Like, I feel
Yes,
like
yes.
him, like Ian Chang, a bunch. I mean, Ian Chang is like early Sunhouse, like very early beta tester Sunhouse guy.
Right,
And
right, right.
and then Mason comes along and starts putting it all his Moog, stuff. And he I feel like he broke the door open of like
I think
at
so
least
too.
one of the more public people, because of his YouTube channel to burst through that threshold of like you can do more than just play drums. I
Yeah,
mean Christian Scott too, or not Christian Scott, Kendrick Scott, my bad, has also done a bunch of cool stuff with Sunhouse as well.
I think he's an official Sunhouse artist too, right? I think I've
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
some of his NAM
pretty sure.
videos. That was pretty sick as well. But yeah, Mason Self is that's the pinnacle right there. That's the goal and beyond kind of thing.
Yeah, his videos about how playing a whole song with just one trigger. I was like, man,
Yeah,
you bastard! Like,
yeah.
it's so sick.
And his record, like his setup is so cool with like the drum tortilla, like super muted drums,
Mm-hmm.
and like, and that's what I haven't really explored yet. Like most of my playing has been on like mesh heads, and what I'm excited about when shows start happening again is actually mixing that stuff with like an acoustic drum sound
Mm-hmm.
and seeing how that's gonna like influence a performance.
Sure.
That stuff that he's doing with that kind of thing, where with Mason's recordings, sometimes you're sitting there and being like, well, is this now real or is this triggered? And then you hear like little artifacts here and there because he's like hitting it with his fingers and shit. And you're just like, oh man, okay, all right,
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, that's a good guy to like invite sometime on your stream too, man.
Oh yeah, man. I'm gonna write that down. Get Mason on. Mason. That's a good idea. Well, this is probably a good segue to get the drum news happening.
Hey.
Man, so glad that worked this week.
Did you compose that?
Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. I
Yeah.
like the 8-bittiness of that.
Yes.
That was cool.
Yeah, I wanted a cheesy '80s news medley.
Nice. We had that classic Super Mario win the level progression at the end there. It was cool.
Yeah. Well, let's get right into it. The first thing that I feel like shocked the drum world this week was copycat culture, and you guessed it. I'm talking about the Zildjian trap stack, you guys. The trap stack, okay? So Brandon, I want you to weigh in on this because I know you're an Istanbul boy, and because I think this is an absolute ripoff. I've heard many Zildjian artists are actually pretty pissed. So yeah, what do you guys think about this? Would you get this?
Well, the thing about it is that Mike Mitchell's been playing that symbol for a long time before it got released, right? He had his own Zildjian version. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they were trying to take all the credit for the symbol and the creative aspect of like the development of that symbol. From what I saw, I don't think Zildjian was blatantly trying to do that. I think Zildjian knows its lane and knows that Istanbul did it first.
But 3 symbols stacked on each other, curved. It's the same. I mean.
I mean, they know it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But some people, some people want to get, some people, are like, I want the Zildjian version.
Can I
Just
throw an
because,
idea out there?
Yeah, hit it.
yeah.
What if like the big Zildjian endorsed boys that just like play like they have exclusive deals, and they were like, and many of them were like, look at what Istanbul is doing. We want that stack, but we can't play Istanbul. Can you make us something like that? And then
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
That's exactly what, so the thing is that now that it's out and the name is stupid because it's like a rip-off name,
Trap stack.
people are pissed, which I
Yeah.
understand. I saw so many people talking shit. Like, who's the main guy who invented the clap stack? Do you have the name?
No.
I saw his Instagram recently.
No,
Forgot
I
his
don't.
name, but everybody was tagging him like, this is embarrassing, like, because it turned into a whole thing, like, trying to, Zildjian trying to make money off black creatives, and it was just getting really crazy. And I was like, man, this is tough. This is weird. But
Yeah. It's a little cheaper, right? Isn't the or is this about the same price? 374. I don't know how much the clap
I think
stack.
I think then the clap stack starts at 4.
That's what I thought. A little like 425 or something.
Yeah.
Well, let's give it a number out of 10, guys. Joris?
I want to hear it. I want to hear it compared to the other one. What if it sounds just like,
I think it sounded pretty stiff. I'm trying to play it, but my computer doesn't like it.
Here, let me just check it out real quick.
Yeah, give it a check.
Trap stack.
The hammering on
Trevor
it.
Lawrence
I mean, the
Jr. Wesley coming in clutch, dude. Made it. He said Trevor Lawrence Jr. is the clap stack originator.
Let me read that. Trevor Lawrence Jr. Yeah, I saw.
Okay, that's the FX trap stack.
So in the first wait.
All right. Let's see.
Yeah. Does anyone out there in the abyss here own one yet? Have they ordered one yet? Let us know. We want to know. Okay.
I give it
Yeah, numbers, yo.
I give it a solid 6. I think
6.
Maybe I'm a purist, but I think it's just much more fun to make these things yourself and just be like, just get some trashy ass symbols from Craigslist and make something and combine it until it works.
Yeah.
But
I feel that.
people got to do what they want to do. So I don't love the copying thing, but I don't know. I don't know the exact story behind it with like maybe like all the endorsers were like, we need that thing. In that case, it's like whatever.
I feel like that makes the most sense. Is that it's like, yo, we want this symbol, we can't play this symbol, so make us a symbol.
But then you look at those guys like Aaron Spears and all those dudes, and they've had stacks for ages, Yeah. And they at some point the stack is just white noise. So yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it depends. It depends on what you're doing. Like that clap stack, like that's really big in modern jazz right now, and modern hip hop, and like just anything that has to do with jazz and hip hop on stage. And that's a really important symbol right now. Another thing is like the fact that Zildjian finally put it out for everybody to see that they made it too. That really shows kind of like where they're at mentally with marketing and publicity. They didn't handle it well. They didn't do it. I mean, I don't know. My part of my what I think is they should have kept it as an exclusive for the artists, only because that would have, let the public know that they really copied Istanbul for their artists, because people like Mike needed it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I also don't know or saw anything that really proves that Zildjian was trying to make it seem like that instrument was their own creation, like in terms of they conjured that instrument up like it was their idea. I didn't see anything that was really trying to that Zildjian was really trying to prove that that was their idea or anything, but people got upset. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your number?
My number?
Yeah.
I mean, the clap stack, if I could say the clap stack's out of 10, I think the trap stack is at probably 7 or 8. I don't think it sounds bad. I just think that, I don't know, the hammering's unnecessary, the way they hammered it. It's just a little different. I mean, I'm
just
not mad.
Different enough.
It's just different enough. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about this. I'm gonna play the Istanbul version, but if people want that on Zildjian, I mean, they should give credit where credit is due. But I mean, like I said, like there's so many people on Zildjian that were thirsty for a clap stack. So I mean, by all means, like, you know. Do I think that they should sell it the way they're doing it? Probably not, in terms of like having respect for who created that type of instrument. Because, Zildjian, I don't know. I'm also happy that Zildjian putting it out, people are giving Zildjian some shit for it, because it's like, yeah, it is true. They didn't come up with that. And that's tight that so many people are like calling that out.
Yeah, kind of music community is like holding you accountable for that type of stuff.
Like, people care about that shit, man. People care about symbols to that extent right now. That's crazy. I mean, that I've never heard of that shit. Like, that's awesome.
Wesley said they had there was a comment on the Zildjian post that said they had the nerve to put Mr. Rogers playing a hip hop groove too. I think that's in the demo video he's referencing that has the whoever they have at their HR or their marketing department testing out the symbol. That's funny. I think
they should have had Mike do it.
They should have had someone that could play the drums a little bit better than Mr. Rogers.
They straight up should have had Mike do it. Like, I bet you anything, like, people would have been talking way less shit if they just had Mike do it.
Yeah, Zildjian, if you're listening, just make Mike Mitchell your symbol guy. Okay, next, I feel like this was probably on some funny Tonight Show ish, but it's very probably the weirdest funeral I would have ever been to, and this is your uncle Brentonell McPherson has passed away, and they thought that he was such a drummer that instead of having an open casket, they're going to have an open drum set. And part of me just really, really likes this idea, and part of me thinks it's the weirdest open casket I've ever been to show up and have your guy sitting behind the kit, like ready for his gig in heaven, I don't know what you guys think. Would you?
Well,
What's that?
He's preserved right there.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's a little cringe, but it's also like he must have loved the drums enough. But like, let me just point out that his hi-hat's on his right. Is he a lefty?
Well, I mean,
his hi-hat's above his tom.
Who set it up though? It's like, have you ever seen a non-drummer? Like, it doesn't even matter.
You just go to Craigslist and see it all.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you ever seen a non-drummer set up a drum set? Like, that's kind of like how that goes.
Yeah. It's definitely, I mean, he's dressed up. He's got his tracksuit on. I can't tell if he's got the matching Adidas hat on. I would hope he does. Um, the tape on looks like he has unmatched drumsticks. I don't know. I can pick it apart, you guys, but
Oh man.
I don't want to. I have no disrespect for the man because he had no say, but maybe he did.
I mean, maybe he did. Like, there's a chance there. There's a chance there that he was
Says-
like, this is what I want, guys.
Yeah, it
This is
says
what
instead of being laid out open casket style, he was propped up behind his kit for one final performance. I mean, it's a little cringe for me, but you know, if your
Yeah.
relatives think this is how you want to be remembered as the best drummer at the funeral, then that's cool with me.
yeah, I don't know. I'm getting flashbacks to this drummer at the wrong gig video from back in the day. So I was just like imagining the guy just being like this. It's like the last gig.
Right. What is that? Oh man, I remember right when that video came out, everyone's like, "Can you do all those things?" And
Oh
I'm like,
man,
I don't get paid enough or have a nice enough suit to do those tricks. That
yeah.
would be another cool dude to have on the stream too. Drummer at the wrong gig.
I think he's still doing things. Every now and then I check it out and I see there's still like new videos popping up of him.
I mean, that guy, like, he made a killing off that video that went viral, and like, what a way to get another gig.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, if anyone in the comment sections would would want to be buried this way, let us know. Also, if you don't, also let us know, because man, I don't know. All right, the number on this one, I'm gonna give this a solid 5. I'm not a fan, but I'm not a fan. You know, I gotta stay neutral. Joris, what you got?
I'm so torn on this one. Like it's all context. If that was his wish, then I'm positive. If somebody else thought it was a good idea, then I'm like thumbs down. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of there with you, like
All
a
right.
5.
5. Brandon.
I'm at an 8.
Ooh. We got a liker here. That's good.
I'm at an 8. Only it's not a 10 because they didn't set up his drums right. But if he said yes, if that's what he wanted, then I'm at an 8.
Caleb says to bury him with this Peisty ride. Good idea. That'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah. There's always myths with these spicy rides that if you bury them for 50 years, they sound better, right? So
yeah, make your casket like a time capsule though. So you gotta bury him. You gotta unbury him in 15 years and play him.
Yeah.
That's your one final performance, baby.
They will sound better that way.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, there's the drum news for everybody. Hope you enjoyed those 2 segments. Because wow, what a week in drumming it has been. So now our main act here, Joris. What's up, man? Thank you for coming on the stream.
Of course.
My first question to you would just kind of be, like everything. How did you come to music?
Man, how did I come to music? Well, I started playing relatively early. I think I was like 10, and I was just like, I grew up in the Netherlands, and we had our local music schools there with a lot of ensembles and stuff like that, and just started playing early. Didn't really get serious about wanting to pursue music until I was like 16 years old, and my parents like dead ass just sent me to like a music camp. Like, here, this is what you're gonna do right now. I was like that annoying kid that wanted to play video games all day long. And they were like, we're done with you right now. Just go to a music camp. You can do that. And I was like, no, I want to play video games. I did end up going, and everything turned around over there. And I was like, all right, music, this is it. This is it. And met some people that made their living out of producing music and still like performing their instruments all the time. And I was like, that sounds pretty dope, producing music, playing drums in bands, doing it all. Good times. So
you got the idea of being a producer at that young age?
I probably, yeah, I think that might have been,
at this music camp? Was this like
yeah,
the
yeah,
light bulb moment? Like you came back
yeah.
a changed young man after this.
Basically, yeah. I think
How long
actually
was the
went
camp?
I went to two of those editions. I think it might have that producer thing might have been at the second one. I was like 16, 17 when I was like, okay, this is cool. Um and yeah, like the music camp was cool. Like I made so many friends that I still to this age like produce music with
Oh wow.
and like playing, back home in Holland playing bands with when I'm there. And yeah, it was sick. And over there I got that down, like, oh, I want to produce music and play drums and just keep doing that. And I prepared for going to conservatory after high school. And you know that the rest is history. Like
Wow.
over there I studied media music, which was a bachelor's degree in like just writing music and producing music for media, and also just pop music and stuff like that. Did drums there too, as like, electives and all that kind of stuff, and minors. And yeah, just kept playing drums and kept mixing the production side with drums. And when I came out here, I met my guys from EMIL and continued that journey basically.
Yeah. Why don't you expand on that stuff with EMIL? How long have you? Did you say so? You came out here after conservatory? Is that correct?
Yeah, so I did my bachelor's back home. And then I got like a scholarship to do my master's in a foreign country. And I wanted to come out here because I knew my industry was here.
Yeah.
And LA and those kind of things, right? And so I did my master's in composition at Cal State Fullerton. And that's where
Go
the guys
Titans.
from that's where everybody was at. Were you at Cal State Fullerton too at
Yeah,
all?
at the same time as Eamon.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
What year did you graduate?
2012.
Oh, snap. Okay. Yeah, so we missed each other because I started in 2015. Yeah.
Dang.
So yeah, crazy stuff. So I met Eman over at Cal State Fullerton, and we started playing and just geeking out on things. And yeah, so been playing drums with Email for a good while. I think we really started playing together around like 20, like late 2016, and then we released our first Email album in 2017. And yeah, we've been cranking on music ever since, honestly.
What's the creative flow in this band like? Maybe yeah. Tell us the instrumentation because people don't know. I'll drop the how you spell it Mael in the chat here so you guys can check it out.
Yes.
But yeah,
So yeah,
what's the instrumentation? How long have you guys been a band?
they were a band a little bit before I joined. I think they started in like 2014 or maybe even earlier. But it's always been very cello centric. So
Because
Eman is,
Eamon's a cellist, right?
yes, cellist, but also a great producer and songwriter and guitar player. And yeah, so it's been very cello centric, but never, it's always mixing like classical influences with like indie pop music. So like I know
Right.
that his influences are like very like Alt J and that kind of thing, Alt J and Radiohead. And like yeah, we mix cello in that. Our instrumentation is cello, guitar with Michael Womack on guitar. Then it's me on drums and synth drums. Uh, and then we have Anthony nowadays playing bass. We used to have Daniel Christoph. I don't know if you know Daniel,
Mm-mm.
as our keys player and synthesizer player. And then we have Jocelyn and Lissa as backup vocalists.
Very
So
cool.
yeah, it's an eclectic instrumentation. Before we had, it was interesting because before we had a bass player, we always had to like you know compensate for that. So I think heavy bass in the kicks or heavy bass in my backing tracks on the SPSX, that kind of thing,
Sure.
or have Daniel play like synth bass. And yeah, so that was kind of like a a sound that we were going for, but now we have organic bass, if you want to call it that. And it's been interesting. It's been very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And your latest single here is with email is 360, correct?
That's the latest album. I think the last single we dropped was, and please correct me if I'm
Wasn't that
wrong.
the name of the track as well? Like the title, the title track of this record. You guys had a big old music video for it, right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
The
360. We had like a really cool like
Yeah.
extraterrestrial music video for that they shot on a different planet. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was really cool. I was really impressed with how that came out. I was really excited about it. And then after that, we did a couple more singles that we had like more like live performance videos with, and I think I did a visualizer for one of the singles as well, because I made that in Blender a couple months ago. And yeah, we've been doing that, and we released the album. We did a live stream on OBS as well, just like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one, we had a little bit of a technical difficulty there, but the second one was
story
was
of my
awesome.
life.
Yeah, it's I think it was a little bit ambitious on my part, because I was running all that kind of stuff and I hadn't checked like my actual internet bandwidth, and like I had an upload speed of like 3 megabit a second. So we were trying to like live stream 4K video. It was a thing, but we figured our stuff out. We did it again, and it came out really well. So we did a live stream for that, and because we recorded like a live show for that stream, and so we did that a couple weeks ago, and we released the album. It's been pretty. I've been looking at the numbers, and they look pretty good. I'm pretty stoked about it.
Very cool. Let me bring up the Bandcamp page here real quick, everybody. If you're looking for it, this is the band Joris plays in, and it's called Email, and you can find their latest record, 360, on Bandcamp. And do you guys have like a proper website? I was looking and I couldn't quite find one, but I'm not sure.
I want to say it's emailmusic.net. Let me double check, because we changed the link a little while ago, and now it's
Let's give this one a listen.
You wanted to feel the way that comes with knowing all of it, but you've saved it for too long. It lost its hues cities ago.
Cello.
We woke in, and then this room we never even noticed walls, exploring rainforest town, not even sure exist today.
This is really cool. If you guys want to check out more of this, make sure you check out this Bandcamp, stream it, buy it. Their digital album's only $7. Come on, y'all. And their record is 20. But come on, ships out within 90 days. Are you serious?
Wait, no, that's the vinyl.
I know.
Oh, yeah. 90 days. Yeah, you know how it is. I think it's still the pre-order, isn't it?
I know it takes a long time to get to the post office, but
yeah. You know how it goes. The actual website is email.net.
Okay. Email.net, y'all. .net. So, yeah, make sure you check all this out and get some, man. This music is great. It's new. It's fresh. I love all the production on it. Can you maybe elaborate a little bit on the songwriting process that you guys have as a band?
Yeah, of course. It really differs for every song, but usually Emmanuel has like an idea, and he writes something, and he, he comes over to my place, and then we work on it. And sometimes we have very different tastes in music and production. So
Mm-hmm.
like I'll like make something that's like, I will add something that would be like a 180 of what he would have done. And so from that point, it's usually like trying to find like the most overlapping, the best synergy of all ideas, kind of thing.
Sure.
And sometimes it's like, I add something weird, and he's like, oh, that's cool. And sometimes he adds something weird where I'm just like, oh, that's fucking awesome. So it's very collaborative, and it's never stale. There's always like these things that I would have never thought of, or he would have never thought of, that kind of thing. So for that same reason, sometimes our process is pretty long. Oh, there's a big car coming. But sometimes our process is pretty lengthy, because we have so many ideas, and at some point you got to start killing your darlings, or it just gets too muddy, too much. But we have a we very I think Emmanuel has very interesting ideas about production. So there's like always this really cool back and forth going on.
Do you guys typically work the whole thing in a DAW, or do you or is it most of it written, or is the skeleton? Sorry, does is the skeleton present before you guys start adding, or is it like a riff or an idea that you're starting with?
um Usually it's like a riff. Usually it's a riff, maybe, an A and a B section,
Mm.
and then we work something out. Um, I will say that most songs come from like a DAW where we make a demo, we record some scratch stuff in Logic, and just go back and forth on that. Um, it would be interesting to actually go back sometime to like a more like a band setting, and just like, oh, I have this guitar riff, and like let's try to figure something out with the band, and
Mm.
just like, because that's been a long time for me since that process has happened. Nowadays it's so digital. Everything's like, oh, I made this sick ass drum groove, I made this bass line.
Sure.
Here's my project, here's my stems, like let's go back and
Right,
forth.
right. Here's my
and, and,
here's
and
my project. I zipped it all to you for sure.
exactly. Whereas like, back in the day, it used to be more like, hey, I have this chord progression, let's play a song.
Yeah.
Kind of thing,
Or let's write a B section. You know.
yes, exactly. But this is, I mean, our music is so production heavy anyways, like I wouldn't want it any other way, to be honest.
That's nice.
The thing that's funny is like, the song nowadays, before we even start rehearsing it with the band, like the song has been done for like a year probably. So it's definitely an interesting process in that
Mm.
regard.
So, are you? This is probably a loaded question, but are you sick of hearing it by the time you're rehearsing it with the band, or does it give you new life when you rehearse it with the humans?
Yes,
Or are you so connected to the demo? Like, I call it demoitis. Like sometimes you can't get anything better than the demo because you've listened to the demo so much. So as soon as you put in new elements or try to play it live, it doesn't really make sense. Does that ever happen with you guys?
demo edits is a thing, um very much so. I i i tend to run into that in the mixing process more than anything,
Mm.
because all the ideas are there, the mix is like getting somewhere, but like the endless fiddling, that kind of like, that's where that starts to like get in, where you just don't kind of lose sight over where everything was at its height, kind of thing. And sometimes then we make a big sacrifice and go back to an earlier stage and be like, okay, that's like the production that we want, and that's how we're going to translate that to the band. Like some of these things are not going to work live. um Honestly, I'm never truly sick of anything that we produce. um it's, if anything, like when we start playing live, that's where new ideas come to life, because not everything that works in the DAW works live, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Like some things that we do live that I love when we played live, but it would have been too raw for the actual record.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always believe that when you're performing stuff live, you gotta have a different take. It's gotta be a bit more earthy rather than, like your recorded version is the pristine, is the polished. Like this is, I don't know, recorded's gotta sound different than live, in my opinion. And some people record stuff and then they play it live and it's the exact same thing. And I kind of think that falls flat more often than not, unless you have a really, like sick sound system or something. You're like, yo, never felt the bass like that before.
Right. You know what? I forgot what the book's name was, but it was like I read this book when I was still at Kelsey Fullerton, and they were talking about like, how recording techniques like evolved over time, and like the philosophy behind that. How like when we first were able to capture recordings, we were trying to get the recording to sound as close as possible to the live performance.
Right.
And like whenever sampling started happening and like electronic backing tracks started happening, now we're chasing the other way. Like now we're trying to make our live recordings sound as much as the studio record as possible in a lot of ways,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool. Like if you get that done, you get a very sleek performance. But if the sound system isn't like working for your backing tracks or anything like that,
Yeah.
and like these things just fall flat. Like, I mean, if I can be honest, like sometimes when there's a restaurant gig and like there's like no sub, then it's like, all right, these couple songs are just not gonna work because you're relying too much on certain samples, or you're relying too much on
Sure.
certain bass tracks and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
no, I hear you on that.
I
It's
feel like
definitely
that's like a writer thing too. You gotta, any of those gigs that you do, you gotta make sure like, do you have the sound that we need to do what we do? Otherwise, yeah, you might misrepresent yourself.
yes, yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would love to be at that point. I mean, you can always write the writer, but whether you're gonna get it or not,
Yeah, those
that's
blue M&Ms might not show up.
yes, exactly. Maybe not this time, but maybe next time.
Yeah. So what other bands have you been in, or what other? I mean, give me a little brief history of the Joris discography here.
Oh man, um, I Email is the only band I've played in here in California. All the rest of the stuff was just like local bands in the Netherlands. Um, I would have to find recordings from those from back in the day. But usually like conservatory projects, that was my thing. Um, but I don't think we released like a bunch of stuff. I might have to look. I might be able to find some stuff if I look for it. I I think Email is the first band that I played with where I was like, okay, now I'm like expressing the kind of music. Like I'm playing in a band that expresses the kind of music I want to make versus, oh, we were just, I'm just tagging along on this drum gig kind of thing. I played in, oh, you might know this other band. I used to play in Scott Grady's group, the Mercy Stone, with Stephen Ragsdale
Oh, I know
and
Steven.
Sean Ray.
Yeah.
You know Steven?
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
Steven is a beast, man. I love that guy.
Crazy.
He's so
dude.
good. That group was kind of interesting too, because that was almost like a chamber ensemble of pop stuff. We didn't play a whole lot of gigs, but it was an interesting experience for sure. Have you ever heard of that group, Mercy Stone?
No, not that I can hear. Imagine.
There's probably a couple videos online still.
The Mercy Stone. Cool. I'll write it down.
Hey, somebody has an interesting comment here. Quincy Jones always says that making records is about capturing the magic of a moment, which I definitely agree with. So to me, I feel like there has to be more of a live element to the recordings than vice versa. Oh yes, that's also true. That's also true. There needs to be something. Not everything can be quantized. That's for sure.
For sure, dude. There's something about playing it live, that's just like even with just a click or no click, it's just like there's that organic, like everyone's got to listen. I don't think there's nothing worse than like I played this gig once where like for every rehearsal I was on a click, and so I was used to the click, but
yeah,
we played the big gig and everyone had in-ears and everyone had the click and everyone fucked up. because they could.
Really?
It's like they weren't like into hearing the click. They would rather just listen to the drums.
Right,
So
right,
like they
yeah.
were like it was very tough for and what's the word, like stiff sounding, to be like to not like, or to have the pressure to be perfect, I guess is the way to say it, because
Right, right.
the metronome's always right, the human element, correct, yeah.
Well, it's also what's interesting too. I don't understand why they did that in the first place on your big show, because I don't think people have a hard time playing with the click, but what happens is that people get thrown off when say like the ensemble starts shifting away from the click, and then but you still hear the beeps in your ear, and you're not used to that.
Yeah.
As a drummer, I usually just think like everybody has to listen to me, so I'm just gonna keep with the click. If you guys are out, like just
Right.
come back, especially when we're in sync with other stuff. But I could, say you're a string player or a brass player, and you hear the ensemble shifting away. Still, you have like a 140 BPM just going off in your ear. I
Yeah.
could see that being
Who do you listen to?
distracting and like throwing you off.
Totally. Totally. Well, you also you mentioned too, I think this is really interesting, that your one of your other main gigs is as a video game composer.
Yes.
Um, so why don't tell me a little bit about how you came into that, and maybe a good story about the first game you ever scored.
Oh snap! I don't remember the first game that I scored, but I can tell you like how that. Well, the first game was probably one of the school projects back in undergrad. I do know that. Okay, so this is how that whole thing happened, right? So when I was in my undergrad, we were studying like pop production or like music production and film scoring, and I was always interested in video games in general. Just like I loved video games, but I was also very obsessed with like the role of music in video games. Like even when I was younger, I remember just like trying to figure out what I could do in the game to like trigger certain sounds. Like, do you play any video games, Matt?
Not really, but I understand what you're doing. What like is if you get into an altercation with the boss, the music's gonna change, or but
Right,
you're
right.
going for the more nuanced, like maybe I hop up a tree and I give a little hum or something. I get a little like different.
Yes, yes, and even like when we were back in the '90s, like when games like Rayman 2 came out, like there was already these layered approaches to video game music, to where like if you progress to a certain point in the level, and there was basically like an invisible line, like an invisible threshold, you would cross that, another layer of drums would start playing,
Yeah.
and if you would move back a little bit, you could like hear the drums fading out, and like you're not supposed to notice that because it should be seamless, but like I would be like that guy who'd be like going back and forth trying to figure out where that point was, and like how that worked, and what the trigger conditions were, and I thought that was very interesting. um what was also interesting to me was that video game music never tends to get boring, even though people play video games for like an 8 hour straight. And there's an interesting like psychology behind that I wanted to explore, and I just wanted to like know how it all worked. So like during my undergrad, I started specializing in video game music. We like basically made up our own specialization within the course and like started studying that. Did my internship here in California with video game composer Adam Gutman, who like worked on a ton of video games. And after that, I kind of like rolled into that casual video game world, and so we do a lot of iOS games, and every now and then we work on like a bigger project, like I was saying, like Overwatch and Hearthstone, that kind of thing.
What's the video game? Is this a composing house of multiple composers and working on the same game, or are they
So
dibbed out?
Over at Moonwalk Audio, it's basically just a team of people. and we do our things, and we tend to like work on the same projects, but we have composers and we have sound designers. So sound designers are the people that make like DUI clicks and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
like big booms, drops, claps. Yeah.
exactly. And then we have a couple people that are implementers on the team. So they implement the games, the sounds into the games, and so everybody kind of works together. And, and it sometimes we are all focused on one big project, but most of the time everybody's kind of doing their own thing and just like working on whatever they need to work on. And yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's a really cool team. I'm very grateful to be part of it. It's
Wow.
a great atmosphere. Everybody's very positive and fun. So yeah, it's been cool. Casual game music is very interesting because we have you have to really think about your audio presentation. Um, those like trigger conditions I was talking about earlier don't always hold up in casual games because there's no room for it.
Can you tell me what a
Sometimes,
casual game is?
so a casual game is like a match three game, or like a little tower defense game. Anything that you can find on your iPhone, like
Oh, okay. Okay.
Candy Crush, that's a
Sure.
casual game. Or Clash of Clans is a casual game.
Cool.
Things like that. Those are casual games, and often it kind of depends on like how long the gameplay loop is. Usually we write between 1 and 2 minutes of music per level, and like it's just like a 1 minute loop that keeps looping. But you also want to make sure that your music is never getting stale, right?
Sure.
So within this 1 minute, I compose usually 5 6 sections within that 1 minute. um, so I don't hang on one vibe longer than 4 bars basically. I
Mm-hmm.
usually modulate within 8 bars, stuff like that. So it's been super interesting coming from long form composing like film scoring or just like writing orchestral music for other things,
Mm-hmm.
going to like having to condense your ideas without making it annoying, and making it still good music, condensing your ideas to like a 1 minute thing and making it interesting. It's been cool. it's,
Yeah.
it's, it's really fun.
We have got a question here. What's your favorite game of all time?
Man, my favorite game of all time, shoot, I'm on a Final Fantasy thing right now, but the games that made the most impact on me is the Legend of Zelda series. So I think Legend of Zelda is like that's like my pinnacle. That's my holy grail. If I could ever work on a Zelda game, I don't see that happening ever in my lifetime because all the production is not happening here anyways. But yes, I think
Wow.
Legend of Zelda that's like up there for me. Um, yeah,
Dang.
but I'm late to the party of the Final Fantasy series, and I've been getting into that stuff. Uh,
Very
I
cool.
don't know if you've ever played any of those games, Matt.
Nope. Drop your favorite game in the comments, y'all, and let
Yes.
us know. Maybe like I was an old school, like I was like a Blizzard guy, like like OG like Diablo,
Right, right,
StarCraft,
right.
um,
Dumb.
and even like Wolfenstein Enemy Territory. Like
Oh man.
I was big on that. I would play that for hours. Um, but yeah, honestly, I think right as soon I think there's this moment in everyone's like life where right when they get a car, everything just stops. Like everything that you do in your house just stops because you're like, nah, I'm out. I'm gonna go to the skate park, or
Yes.
I'm gonna go hang out with my friends, and not illegally drive them around.
Nah.
And I mean, I think I got into Halo with my friends, but just because all my friends were into Halo, like I sucked at Halo,
Right, right,
and I
right.
sucked at like
Halo. I've always sucked at shooter
yeah.
games.
But man, I had to tell myself that I could do it, so I beat Halo 3.
Wow.
And I was a big fan of Jack and Daxter, like
Oh, that's a good
one,
series too.
two, and
Yeah.
three. And I think
Yes.
that was because maybe I'm more of a game dude than I think. But like I was like kind of into Banjo Kazooie, but I never had a PlayStation.
Wasn't Banjo Kazooie on N64? Wasn't that like a Nintendo exclusive?
No, I thought that was PlayStation exclusive. But
No.
also, you mentioned Rayman, and I
Yeah,
loved that game too. I completely forgot about that game.
it's so good.
I
And
loved
like
that
that game
character,
still
like his
holds
little
up.
circles just bouncing. I'm like, what the fuck? Who is this thing? What is
Yes.
this thing?
Yeah. So good. So good. Um, Speaking of shooters, like I've never been a shooter guy. However, ever since quarantine started, Call of Duty Warzone. I never played a Call of Duty game in my entire life, and like I saw that all my friends are on that game, and it's like there's something about playing together with friends, and it like especially when quarantine hit and like we couldn't see each other, nobody wanted to like nobody
Oh
was
yeah.
hanging out. Um,
Crazy.
What's that, Brandon?
I was like, that's crazy. No, I mean, just like unifying through games with friends online is fun.
yes,
Absolutely.
yes. Yeah, so it's definitely a thing. Like even when I'm deep into like a narrative single player adventure and I see that all my friends are online, it's like, ah, shoot, I kind of want to hang out with them. All right, let's get it.
I
I mean,
I can't
that's
do
such a
this single.
change though. Like you would know, like my gap in games is so big that like I didn't know like my friends were playing. Like if they're on, is that like through Steam? So like when people
Warzone
are on.
is free on every platform nowadays. I play on PlayStation or on Xbox. It doesn't really matter. You can just see whoever is online. So um,
Right. That's the thing.
yeah,
Like I don't remember ever seeing like, oh, well, I guess that's wrong because when I got like an Xbox 3, like that's when I could see like, oh, my friends are online. Like, what are they playing?
yes,
You know,
yes, yes,
or like,
yes.
The games. That's what I like. Fighting. I only subscribe to like 4 games, and that's like racing games, fighting games, skating games, and pretty much it. Like Tekken, Mortal Kombat. Do y'all like that stuff?
totally.
Um, yeah, I'm really bad at it, but I think it's a good time. I will say I did not have a good time watching that movie the other day.
You watch
Uh,
Mortal
Uh,
Kombat?
Mortal
I heard.
Kombat. Oh man.
Man, the OG Mortal Kombats were sick. I heard, I haven't seen the new one, but that was one of the first like games, that they made a movie though, which is kind of interesting. Like
Yes,
it was such
yes.
a y'all ever played Skate 3? You guys like Skate 3?
Oh,
Yes.
that game was good, but it was so hard. Um, Coming from like Tony Hawk, like the Skate series was just like, okay, now we gotta really play, you know?
Now you got to really skate. I was going to
Yeah,
say too like because we're on the game tip, like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, like I mean that was probably almost a blow to the video game composer industry because they just used pre-recorded band songs. But
yeah,
for their things, and you can go in there and turn off every song except Superman by Goldfinger, like I did.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's songs out there that are iconic to like Primus was huge on Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1. Goldfinger was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1. Suicide Machines, like
Cool. I think that's cool. Just because they were integrating like hip music with skateboard. I mean, I think those two have always been together. Even with the skate series, I mean, their soundtracks were always very niche.
sure.
I mean, and all the Tony Hawk games, all of them, they always had very niche soundtracks,
Exactly.
and I mean that's always been a big part of like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I mean, the soundtrack or any skating game, I think the soundtrack's always a very big deal.
Yeah, we used to think about skate videos too. They're just full of good music most of the
I
time.
think it's like it's such a cultural heritage. Like music has such a cultural heritage in like the skate community. Like, would it even work to write a bunch of like original music
Sure.
if it doesn't have those callbacks? Like I remember playing uh I I'm not sure if it was the first or second one, but one of like the Tony Hawk Underground games and like they had like the Red Hot Chili Peppers Fight Like a Brave and that kind of stuff, and it was just like all these songs that were so iconic for skate scenes,
Mm-hmm.
for the skate scene. I was like, yeah, that's just. I'm glad they licensed that. I think that just makes it more memorable, and I think some of those songs became more nostalgic because of the video game instead of the
Right.
other way around, you know.
Mhm.
So I think it's I think that's cool.
I
I
agree.
One of my favorite soundtracks to a game ever, though, like original soundtracks, is Tekken 4. You should really check out that Tekken 4 soundtrack. It's on Spotify. It's on platforms.
I will. I'm writing that down as we go.
Wow.
It's
Yeah,
always
that,
like check
that
out new stuff.
I guess I have such a strong connection to it because like when I first got a PS2, that was my first game, Tekken 4 and SpongeBob, and then I started getting the Mortal Kombat games. Those games are like really special to me, like Tekken and Mortal Kombat and like FIFA Street and like regular FIFA. Those are really big for me.
Dude, FIFA Street was cool, dude. That
The,
game
fir-
was so
the
original.
first one, for the first one,
Yeah, yeah.
that shit was crazy with the intro video with Brazil playing on the street. Oh man, it was so. I miss those days, man.
Yeah.
I miss that.
Nostalgia trip for sure. You know what we did like a couple weeks ago? I don't, by the way, if you ever want to like if you had stuff on your schedule, Matt, and we're talking about video games so long, just let me know.
Oh
Right?
no,
But,
we're in video game heaven right now. Let's go.
so what me and my friends did like a couple weeks ago is just like boot up an old PlayStation 2 and like play like the old James Bond games and stuff like that. If you want to go down like nostalgia heaven, like that's the way to go.
Oh man,
That's so
I have
fun.
an N64 at the house that we.
Nice.
I just bought. Well, I bought Star Fox a while ago. That was like my game too. Man, yeah, I guess I was
There's
a little
007 game for N64. It's like really iconic. I think.
GoldenEye for sure.
GoldenEye, yeah. That was great.
The camera sucks though.
You can't like aim up or down, right? It's only just like tank control.
It's honestly, I mean, people can ream me for this, but I hated that game, so I didn't really ever play it. But it came with a lot of N64s. That was
Yes.
and Mario, obviously, which I also just didn't like that game.
Oh snap!
Sorry, y'all.
Unpopular opinion over here.
Yeah,
All right,
let's
I
go.
hear, see you.
Like like Matt?
I
What
didn't
game?
like Mario, the Super Mario 64.
It's hard for me to get into Mario, man. I mean, I can only play it for so long, but Sonic, put me on the Sonic tip. Shit,
Damn,
I'm out
dude.
there.
I was like a big Super Mario like on SNES, like the Super Nintendo.
Oh,
Mhm.
Getting all
yes.
that stuff. Like I love that Mario, just like this version Mario where like the world just comes at you and you have to keep going.
Yeah.
That makes a
was-
lot of sense to me. And like stomp on the bad guys makes sense to me.
Well, I mean that was like when we're talking about video game audio, like that was the game that changed everything. Like that soundtrack, Super Mario on the NES was so revolutionary because like they figured out they only had 4 channels of sound and they had to fit music and sound effects on that. And like the way they made that happen on like with their technical difficulties was so cool. Like I don't know if you've ever noticed, and not to like go on a nerd rant, but what happens is like the original Mario tune is basically like a two part voice leading, but the harmony like the second voice drops out every time you like pick up a coin because it has to like make place for like the coin sound effect. And the same thing happens when there's another like stinger. A stinger is like a 2 second piece of music that happens when you do something like significant, right? So you pick up a power up, stuff like that, and like something plays, right? Like a short sound effect.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Every time that was happening, the engine would choose what voice to drop, or like to drop the percussion or drop like a synth voice. And like the way that was all interweaved, and it still sounds like you don't really notice it because they always pick the right things to drop out. So it's never really that distracting. Like, oh, now the entire music track dropped out, because that never happens. There's always these little elements that keep playing to give the illusion that the music never went away. So Super Mario has like a special place in my heart, even though I wasn't, I don't think I was alive when they first dropped that game, but like because of the significance of like how it changed the whole way of how we compose, how we even compose and implement audio in video games nowadays. It's still like that way of doing it. Like, oh, what can we sacrifice to make room for this thing, so that we don't like hit our headroom, like we don't hit our 0 dB in the engine, that kind of thing.
Sure.
Have you do you remember SSX, the snowboarding game?
SSX
Yes.
tricky.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, what I loved about SSX, and what you're saying reminds me of this, is like you would all the power up sounds, right? And then like every time you would hit like crazy air and be in the air for a super long time,
Right.
like the music would do that weird low pass filter thing, and then you could almost hear like they would almost like amplify the effect of like the wind in the air, and that would bleed through the low pass filter that was happening on the music, and then when you would land, the music would come back and like slam into the game.
And it almost like that was almost as satisfying as like a drop in EDM, right? Like it's like everything goes away, you have this like tension,
Mhm.
and then there's the release, and you're just like, oh hell yes, like I made it, kind of thing.
Landed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those games are super crazy, super dope games. I love those SSX games.
Yes, very very good. Yeah, I love that stuff too. And I just love the audio design in those games is so great, to where like you really control like how, or you almost manipulate like how the player's feeling about their progress just by like manipulating
Mhm.
sound. It's so cool.
Man, I would I have a kind of going back to the composer thing. The question
Yeah.
here, like, how do you what is the order of operations as far as presenting the music to the developer, to the game developers? Like, what do they? Let's say we're gonna do a, like you said earlier, a casual game. Like, what are they looking for?
um it depends how they are prepared on their end. Often we just get requests, a we get like a level design, for instance, right? We say you have a restaurant game or you have a city builder game, but it takes place in Italy. You know, our main concern is we want to fit the aesthetic and we want to amplify what's out there. Like we want to synergize with whatever the game design is.
Yeah.
So we usually ask them what the gameplay loop is, what are the options, like what can we do, what's possible in the game, and yeah, like how will the music fit within the game? Like sometimes there's options for the layering stuff, like even those effects that Brandon was talking about. But sometimes there's not. So if there's not, then we figure out how we present the audio in such a way that it's still like within the limitations that we have. We do the best job that we can do, right?
Right.
So, but usually we ask for screenshots, gameplay videos, and we tend to make like a mock-up, and we basically send. We work pretty fast, so we send like our music within a day or two, and then they implement it, do a test, and if it's a bigger game, then I stem it out, and we do like a mock-up of like how it could work within the game, and then we have like instructions on like how to implement it. Sometimes we have our own implementation guy on it. That's really easy because they understand exactly what we want, and then we get it in the game, supervised and like perfectly.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. It doesn't, that doesn't always happen. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll, even when the game is released, I'll just play the game and just load it up on my iPhone and see if everything's working as it should. And if it's not, then we got to ring the bell, because I don't think my job is ever finished after I bounce my music. Like it needs to sound good. It needs to sound good in the game. Um, so I'm always very concerned about the presentation after I deliver it. So that's kind of how that goes.
I feel that. Wow. Well, if anyone out there is interested in learning more about the video game composer, make sure you just hit up Joris, because he'll tell you everything. Tell you all
I will tell you all my secrets.
all the beats. I love it though.
Yeah.
I think it's, like, especially in the long, the long run of life, like we all have to have these. I mean, in my opinion, we all have to have like these different streams of income to like keep our creative habits at bay, because like we can, like for me it's, like teaching, drumming, instrument making,
Right.
you know,
Yes.
fucking all this stuff, like it's not just one thing. And to have your foot in a lot of doors, I think for anyone's, talents like you have is such a good thing. And to be a part of a team like you are is to be an asset, to continue to be an asset on your team is important.
Yes. Yes. Well, I'm grateful for every gig that that I can do, because for me it's the dream to you're creating something out of thin air, and it will end up in a video game, like that
No
it's
matter what.
sometimes if I like stand still and realize that kind of thing, like I think that for me, I get really happy for that, from that, the fact that I can do that kind of thing.
Yeah. That's so
So
sick. Well, hey, let's surf back to the drum world really quick. I'm curious to
Yes.
know just some throwaway questions here. What kit are you rocking right now?
I'm still rocking my Gretsch Catalina Club here. um
Classic.
I have a really, so this is like this is really gnarly feeling for me, but I have a beautiful drum workshop kit back home. Um, but it's in the Netherlands.
Right.
What am I gonna do?
Right.
I will never sell that thing ever. So, but I'm using a little nice like Gretsch Catalina here, and it works really well. Um, Especially for what I'm doing.
Is it with
It,
the 18 or is it with the 20 or 22?
it's like it's a 16-inch for tom. It has, I think, the 18 bass drum. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it's pretty small. It's good. It's compact. It does the job. Um, I I'm rocking a really large as snare drum. It's the Sonar signature Denny Carey snare from, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, and it's like I think it's copper. It's this giant thing. It sounds massive, but I love it.
Do you have the dimensions on that?
I think it's 14 by, I want to say 14 by 8.
That's a deep snare.
It's close to marching snare material.
You gotta
It's
get a deep snare when you can.
it it's not suitable for everything, but when I can pack the punch, I'll take it out any day.
Sure. What about the cymbals? What's your cymbal arsenal looking like?
um I love the K series. I love, like, my hi-hat situation right now is just two K crashes, like 16-inch K crashes combined. And but my ride, I have this Istanbul Azure AGOP from, like, also like 20 years ago. It's like a 22-inch. It's the most beautiful sandy, dark, washy ride, like super thin. It's like the most beautiful ride that I've ever heard, and I will never part with it. I don't know. Does anybody ever part with their cymbals? Like, I feel like they're always gonna be my babies, even if I don't use them.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you can get sick of a sound, but sometimes I've had someone say, like, you might like it later, so why sell it?
So I have that issue with my I have a bunch of, like, K hybrids. Do you know that series? I don't know if they still make them.
Are those like the shiny in the
Oh.
middle and lathed on the outside?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So I have a 14.5-inch height of that, and I have a 21-inch ride of that. And, like, I haven't used the ride in forever, but the bell is really nice. But it's just like, it's like a really funky, it's kind of like, it would work really well with, like, a Tower of Power situation, but I never have to play that kind of stuff anymore, these
Yeah.
days.
Man,
So-
sometimes the solution is to, like, I feel like, I mean, it may drive the price down or up, depending on how it sounds to the right buyer, but you can get those things modded now. There's so many people like Stackering Percussion, for instance, that, like, you'll be able to send them your cymbals and tell them what you want, and they'll do their best to lathe off some weight and rehammer some stuff, and I don't know, like I did that with some new beat hi-hats that I had that are just super chunky and not, conducive to like hitting and not getting like a really just, I don't know. I wasn't liking them, so I had some weight taken off of them.
Yeah.
And and they're a lot lighter. They sound better.
Wow.
And those hi-hats are like $100 off Craigslist. And they're like they're in my cymbal bag right now. They're the ones I'm using.
They're one of your mains, basically.
Yeah.
The new beats are the ones with like the little holes on the bottom, right?
Some of the new beats have holes on the bottom, yeah. But yeah, mine don't. But
okay, you can still let that, little read there. You can still do it.
Man, I have some Paiste 2002s hi-hats that have holes on the bottom, and I was like, oh, these are kind of cool. But
yeah, I've never had a pair of those with like holes on the bottom. It feels like they because of the air release, they would sound lighter, and like there's less air buildup, so they probably are a little faster response kind of thing. But yeah, you tell me what is it? What is it play like?
I have no idea. Make them lighter and have them scratch your other cymbals. Is what the holes in cymbals are for.
Oh yeah.
No.
That's a hard lesson that I've been learning when I'm stacking cymbals. It's like, yeah, it's all fun and games until you look at the bottom cymbal, and you're just like, oh, all right,
Yep.
that's there now.
Stuck with it now.
It's fine. It's all they call it war scars, or
Battle
it's a little war damage, but
Yeah.
it gives it a character. So I'm
Man,
trying.
I heard this funny quote, and it's probably the most expensive stack that I heard someone talk about, and they asked Questlove what his favorite stack was.
Oh no.
And he said Crash of Doom stacked on a 22 con. And,
What?
And I was like, dude, that's like, I mean, the cons are like, $500, and the Crashes of Doom are like $3, so that's like an $800 stack.
Yeah, that's also a pretty heavy ass stack too. Like that must, that's almost like what, like a ride replacements right there.
Yeah, I mean,
What
those
do
are
you-
2 rides just used to like make a sound.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah, those cons. Yeah, one day.
Oh, dude, you're gonna join the Constantinople Club one day?
Well, there's one symbol in particular that I still want to try. That I still want to buy one day. It's a 24K light. Have you ever seen those?
Oh,
Those are really nice. I've played it once, and I should have just bought it back then. But I was a student, and like my concern was like, well, now I gotta buy a new symbol back too. I didn't do
right.
it.
Oh man,
Like
I didn't think about that.
24, that's large, dude.
Yeah,
really large.
that's definitely a. I've had people. Ouch. Sorry. I know people that have like 26, like a 26-inch ride. I'm like, damn, dude. Like, how do you even like get a bag?
Yeah.
You're just carrying that symbol to the gig with some towels.
I mean, I guess you could, but that makes it easy for people to like notice what you're carrying.
Yeah.
Perhaps feel it, Yeah. K lights are nice, but Brandon, what are you playing? I heard you're an Istanbul guy too.
Yeah, I'm playing a 20 on my left. I'm playing a 20-inch Istanbul Exist Dry Dark Crash, and then on the right I'm playing a 22-inch Istanbul Exist Dark Crash again for my ride, and then I have 17-inch Exist Dry Dark hats, and then I bought a Zildjian Oriental China with an effects crash, and I'm stacking that right now.
Oh,
But
sweet.
yeah, it sounds pretty crazy, but I'm gonna get the Istanbul version like soon.
Right. Nice. The I didn't know that I think they revamp the Exist series like a couple years ago.
Well, yeah, with the Exist Dry Dark.
Yes.
Yeah, because the Exist came out, and those were kind of like more brilliant sounding, traditional, not too much lathing.
Right.
But these are dark with the bubbles. Have you seen the dark kind of gray symbols with the bubbles? Exist Dry Dark.
Let me see. I'm just Exorcist.
Nate
Dry
would
Dark.
use them a lot on his for this forest stuff too.
That is. Oh, that's beautiful. That's sexy right there. Sorry.
Yo, are those bubbles like solid metal or like are they hammered
They're
through?
hammered. They're hammered, but I think for those specific symbols, they have like a specific machine. Like I don't think they're hand hammered. I think that's why they're cheap because there's not much material on them. Like I'll show you. How do I flip the camera? All right here.
Oh, dude, a whole set for like $600 on Reverb.
Yeah, they're going.
That's decent. Hey, so
Yeah,
17-inch little Steve Jordan action there.
yeah.
Check them out.
That's dope. Digging.
Where I was shedding here yesterday
Oh,
with
sick.
Patrick.
Heck yeah.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, those are what I'm rocking right now. But I don't know. I'm trying to get a Istanbul trash hit, but I'm trying to find a thin enough one. Kind of want to get one at like 2100 grams.
Nice. Nice.
I feel like
That,
Oh,
you could hit
look
them
at
up, dude, and like put that order in. Like
oh, can I drop some news? I was gonna drop this news, but I didn't know. But I wanted to drop it on you, Matt.
hit me.
I will be in LA at the end of the month with my band.
What? Playing where?
Yeah,
Minaret pop up?
I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I can't really say much about it, but I'll be around.
Dang, dude.
What's your
I'll be
band,
around.
Brandon? What's it called?
We're called Medellin Collection.
Can you
That's
spell
my
that?
Medellin and then space collection. But yeah, our record hasn't come out yet. It's gonna come out in July. But we just made the Instagram Medellin.collection. So if y'all want to follow that, people who are watching who haven't followed it yet, go ahead. Everything that has to do with my group will be posted there.
Did you guys post a video on Facebook by chance? I see Meddling
Uh,
Collection and Side Piece.
yeah,
Austin.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's what they streamed when we played at the Sahara Lounge.
All right, let me just oh, it looks cool. All right, let me just I'll bookmark that. I want to watch that later. Cool, man. That's awesome. Nice little
I'm
setup.
I'm excited, man. I'm just on some. I don't know what I'm gonna do about drums. I'm trying to find a kid out there.
Oh dang. You're gonna be here at the end of the month, huh? And
Hmm.
so like coming into June.
Yeah, like the whole thing is like I don't know if I'm gonna rent a vehicle because I think we're gonna have to rent a vehicle to bring all our gear, but I could also rent a kit out in Los Angeles so it'd be cheaper. We wouldn't have to get such a big vehicle to rent to go over there because like
Are you gonna
everybody could
drive?
probably. Yeah.
Okay. Dang, dude. If I wasn't if I had an extra kid, I'd help you out, but mine are all tied up at the moment.
Yeah, it's
If anyone's got a kit for Brandon, help him out.
I'm thinking if there's not like a cheaper solution than to like, you know.
I feel like, bro, you should just like be on your Craigslist game on your drive out and just find that one when you get here and for like $200 or something, like full like hardware and everything, and just bring your cymbals, and then like just flip it for 250 when you leave,
yeah,
or just yard sale it, you know.
yeah,
how long are you gonna be here?
10 days.
I mean, that's a pretty tough sale, but you know, I'm sure. I don't know, man. I think you can do it. I think you can do it. Flip it.
I also think I'm just like because if I'm gonna be there for 10 days, like I think I'm just gonna figure out a way to bring my kit, just because I really don't want to deal with loose ends and money. Because like people are like, oh, you could rent a kit, you could find a kit, and it's like, yeah, I can, but if I bring my kit, that's just a whole lot of problems that are not going to happen for me. I'll have so much. I won't be dealing with problems. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Have
yeah.
everything there.
You could always
But
like stack your drums inside your drums and like, or like take a condensed kit like a kick, snare, tom. You know, get that lightweight hard. I saw you got that armor, whatever, fucking bag with the small hardware bag. Like,
hmm hmm
it's not that much to like stack them in there and like,
yeah.
but I don't know. I bought the drill bit, the drum head, the drill bit for the lugs.
hmm
So like, if you really felt like you were going crazy, you could just bring that drill and just like drill them out every night and just put them in. And I don't know. Then you can only bring one case and it'd be baller. Maybe with your snare case too, but I'm not sure. Whatever you're comfortable with. I think everyone's comfortable playing on their own kit, but you know, you can always find a kit out here.
hmm
Maybe just have your opening bands backline you. That's what's up.
Yeah. I think I'm just gonna bring my kit.
I would.
Only.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get some
I
good
mean,
picks on the road with the CNC.
I think I'm just gonna bring the Rogers, man. I want a bigger kit. I want to play a bigger kit, and like I don't care about scratching it up.
Sure, that makes sense.
That's yeah. CNC is like when I have like cases and and a roadie and all that
And
shit.
mics.
Yeah, later. That's later. That's some later.
Did you track your record on the CNC?
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, it's on the CNC. But I think I'm gonna use my CNC snare. That's what I'm gonna use.
Oh, dude, I would.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, Matt. If you wanna link up, I'm gonna link up with Wesley out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep me
But
in the loop, dude. That'd be fun.
yeah, we're gonna shoot him. We're gonna do a lot of stuff. We're gonna do. I don't know if I should say all the stuff we're gonna do, but we're gonna do a lot of
You
cool.
definitely should.
We're gonna there's just a lot of things going on. But early June, a special event will be happening, and I will be at that special event, and there will be more important people at that special event, and there will be more information on that special event pretty soon. So
Nice.
I'll be talking about it probably like the next 2 streams. I'll say a little bit more about it, but
All right,
we'll see.
all right.
I'll keep us in the loop though. I want to check out your band. I'll watch the live stream, but maybe we can, if you're playing a live show out here, if things are opening up again. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anybody like actually like playing a show again. I've heard like bars are opening up again, but I'm not sure about venues. But you probably
That's
know more about that than I do.
that's like the thing. Like if we do like if what I say happens, it's gonna be like a really weird kind of historical event. In terms of just like where the country's been at and like where music's at in Los Angeles. So
Yeah.
that's why I don't want to say too much yet, because like I want to wait till like more things are like kind of like set in stone.
Wait for that
But
yellow tier, baby.
yeah, that yellow tier.
I think I believe it's either the 1st of June or that California is supposed to open all back up. So maybe you'll cruise into town just in time. Maybe that's part of your whole scheme.
Everything's just gonna work out, I think, the way it should work out.
Yes.
Yeah. Man, I saw Nowhere played a show in the desert last week.
What?
It was in the desert.
In Palm Desert, yeah.
Oh, okay, nice.
They advertised it too. I was like, oh man, how come I didn't see this?
Yeah, Nowhere's doing it. Shit, come on.
Yeah.
Wait, so what? Tell me about the venue. Like, what was the situation like?
It was outside. They brought their own sound subs and speakers and.
Oh wow. That's really dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Noah a couple of years ago at the Terragram in Los Angeles. So fucking good.
Absolutely.
I love that shit.
Man, Joris, what are you listening to lately?
Oh, That's a tough question. I yeah, I gotta be honest with you, man. I've been working so much lately. I haven't had a lot of time to just like sit down and listen to to new stuff. I just go through my Spotify Discover Weekly when I'm working out and hope to like find some new cool stuff.
Sure.
I've been on for a while now. I've been on this Sefta Lisa craze. I love her. Do you know Sefta Lisa?
No. What'd she do?
She's Dutch Iranian, and it's kind of like this like trip hop band, and really interesting production, really cool stuff.
Did she have
And
a little story on NPR?
I think so. I think I saw that
'Cause I
like
think I heard that story, but maybe I'm
a
just
couple weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, I tend to like love all the new stuff that that Ground Up is bringing to the table. Like anything that the Michael Lee guys, Snarky Puppy guys are bringing out,
Sure.
that's like my jam. I'm waiting for Hiatus Coyote to do some new stuff.
Yeah. That
Love
album's gonna be
that.
dope.
Big influence. Yeah, that's kind of my my corner of music. What about yourself?
Man, I've had Quickly's new track Feel on repeat.
Let me see.
Quickly is a producer from Portland who I can announce it here will be on the stream May 18. It's gonna be
Hell
dope.
yes. Nice.
And which is gonna be dope. And yeah, Graham's a good dude. Go check his stuff out. I would he just got signed to Ghostly Records, I believe. I'm not sure who. I don't know much about Ghostly, but it seems like a pretty big deal. So
Let's see. Ghostly Records. Oh, they got some stuff. They're pretty big.
yeah.
Tycho, Come Trues.
Are you,
Oh, Taika, I'm true. Dang.
are you familiar with Quickly, Brandon?
No, I saw you post about it, but they're on that a label with Comtrues and Tycho.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm surprised you haven't
Oh
heard
wow.
Quickly. Um, he's like a badass producer, man. Like, uh, yeah, damn. Yeah, you gotta check that shit out, man. Quickly,
Hmm.
not to be slept on. What about you,
All right.
Brandon? What's rolling in your on your Spotify lately?
Let me check real quick. Let's see. Playlist. The
Also, Kiefer just came out with a new record too, which has been good.
I've been listening to Troika. I've been listening to Cities of Eve, Egberto Gismonti, uh, Voldemort, High C, um, a lot of Cities of Eve. And just a lot of Cities of Eve right now.
What cities have you?
That yeah, and I've been blasting this that and Yusuf actually. Yusuf and Dakota were here. I don't. Do you know about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Yusuf showed me an album that's super good. Introspection by Luis Bonfa, and then Chicago Underground Quartet, the self-titled album,
Oh, cool. Let me write that down too.
and this album called Coma Saxo by Peter Eld.
Okay.
Super. You would like that one. That you should save that one, Matt.
Can you spell it for me?
Coma Sax. Yeah, Coma Koma, and then Sax Saxo, and the artist is Petter Petter space Eldh.
Sick.
It's like a I don't know what it is. It's like a yeah. It's super good.
Damn. The Spotify is lit, y'all. It's out.
Sick.
Man, now that we're going through that, let me just see. There's another one. Maddie J just released a new single, which is pretty great. I've also been going back and listening to some old. This is a band in LA called The Breathing Effect that I really enjoy.
Oh, I love that. My friend who I'm taking to Los Angeles with me, who's running, who gonna run a light show for me. Has ran a light show for them.
Very tight.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Just-
breathing
Nice.
effects is bitching. And I also like, I haven't listened to the new Knee Body album yet. It's called Chapters, and I've been listening to that. They do a lot of collabs on the record, which is cool. I'm like a big The Line guy though. If you're like a Knee Body freak like me, also their live albums are just ridiculous, and so kind of like going back and listening to like Nate Wood style, trying to get some,
Do you ever do that kind of stuff, like the Nate Wood thing, with like, playing the synths at the same time or playing bass at the same time?
Yeah, well, I don't play the string bass, but in my band Barnacles for a while I was playing left hand synth bass and drums at the same time.
Oh fuck. All right.
Which is super fun and not as hard as you think it is, as because drummers are just so like, ability to do things with their hands, and you just have to have a melodic sense and you're good.
I mean, it's like a drum, certain melody.
What's that?
It's like drumming. It's just like drumming, but with a certain melody.
Yeah. So that was really fun. I gotta get back into that, but that's it's the Nate Wood thing. Is a very unique to Nate, and I want to try to as much as I can not be a Nate Wood copycat. Yeah, but Nate Wood was the reason I got the synth that I used for that gig anyway. So who am I?
I mean, you can pay tributes too. That's fine.
Yeah.
All chill. Yeah.
All right.
Good shit.
So before we go, maybe Joris, tell me a little bit about your synth rig. I know you're a synth nerd just like me here. So what do you?
Yes.
What's racked up right now?
What's on my table?
Yeah.
Well, it's always on the Moog Sub 37. It's always like the lights are always blinking. Prophet 6 module. I use it.
Table?
The tabletop module. That one is always going to, like, whenever I do anything with synths, like those are my two main, my voice. I have a little Korg new bass 2 that is really great for like the acid bass, like TB 303 kind of style thing.
Oh, okay.
And I bought the Pulsar 23. I got it in like a couple weeks ago. So that's my drum module, my drum synth. It's interesting as fuck. Like that thing sounds like a Trent Reznor in a box, basically. It's just like industrial, grimy. You almost can't get a clean sound of it. Everything's like noisy as shit. Like, but it's cool. It works really well. Like the kick is super punchy. The snare is like this really weird, like white noise burst, and there's like a clap function on it, and everything is modular, so you can like, and it's there's body connectivity on it, because instead of patch points, you have these little like banana or like alligator clips.
Okay.
So there's little metal points that you can just touch with 2 fingers, and you get connectivity. So you can, before you patch it, you can just like touch 2 points and you can hear the modulation happening. And
wow.
So that makes for really interesting like performance things too, because you can do like rhythmic modulation kind of thing. You can just like tap things and you like hear the modulation going. So like I'll do when I'm recording it, I'll do like rhythmic distortion and stuff like that. So
Dang.
that's been a lot of fun. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And you know what, dude? Like they always say, like with synthesizers, that the gas, like the gear acquisition syndrome never stops. But for now, I think I'm chilling.
Yeah, I feel that. My latest acquisition was the Behringer Model D.
Oh, nice.
And because I sold I used to have the Base Station 2.
Yes.
And but I just went with the Model D to kind of like get the synthesis game going a little bit more. But
wait, does the Base Station 2? That's not a preset synth, is it?
It has presets, yeah.
Okay, but it's not like, it's still like one knob per function, isn't it?
Yeah, it's full analog synth. It's like normal,
Right.
everything going on. But yeah, whereas the D, you have to pretty much start everything from scratch.
Yes.
But it
Every
has
time.
patch. It has patchability, which is really sick.
Nice.
And I might as well run them all off here. I got the Korg mini log, which is such versatile, like for like airy pads and lead stuff. I got
Yeah.
the JU06 tabletop. The
Oh,
the
the Juno
the
model.
boutique, yeah,
module?
it's been really
Nice.
fun. I think everyone's got to have their little Casio. I have the Casio MT240, which has like a
So
really yeah.
is that the sampler or no?
No, it's not sampler.
Oh,
Well, no, yeah, I don't think it's sampler, but I can record stuff on it, which is cool.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, the MT240 has the best, I think one of the sickest flute sounds, and it has a nice chorus sound. And it's got a wonky piano sound for like, non-piano piano stuff.
What kind of does it have?
What's that?
What kind of output? Is it 1/4 inch output if you want to play it through a amp?
No, it's 1/8 output.
Oh, okay.
I think it's
So you have to convert it to 1/4 inch if you want to play through an amp.
yeah. I think it's here. Oh man.
that's awesome. I want to get one of those Casios one day.
Yeah.
Oh.
There it is. Nice chorus sound.
Oh shit.
It's really, I mean, like I bought it for those two sounds, and the
Oh lol.
little Lydian happening there. It's okay.
That chorus is interesting. It doesn't sound like a Juno, but it's an interesting chorus. But you said like you can actually record on that too. What do you mean? Like you can sample into that?
Yeah, it has like a memory bank.
Oh.
So I would assume that you could record I haven't used it, but you can record the sounds in there and just bounce them back out, I guess.
Gotcha.
It's like, I think any one of those things that has like a demo mode has a way for you to like record stuff onto it.
Right.
It also has a cool little like rhythm section. Like
Yes.
you have like the stock like Casio like samba.
Oh
of,
yes, the
jazz
classic.
and rock, And even
Yeah,
has
yeah,
like a
yeah,
little
yeah.
fill button, which is kind of cool.
Does it have the what do you call it? Like the arranger mode where you like on your left hand, like you hold like a chord
the
down.
accompany,
Yeah.
what do they call that? Casio chords. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah,
It's-
it does. But it also
That shit always crack me up, dude.
it also has MIDI out, which I love. So
nice.
I just use that to power the D
Yes.
as well, and I have the MIDI out on my core going for the Juno, so it's been nice to have like a nice little like want to flow over here. But,
So I have to take back my words because I said like I don't have gear acquisition syndrome anymore. But I will say that you definitely turned me on those like Etsy DIY synth nerds.
oh,
like
bro, that pedal you sent me the other day, what was that thing called?
yeah, something like the time.
Gosh,
Yeah.
that pedal looks baller. I'm gonna have to go back on our messages because yeah, man, the Etsy game you can get very like, I think the name of the game is just like unique sounds. Like that's
Right. All right.
and I think there's a lot more like noise people on the Etsy stuff. But I have like these little things.
Yes, those things. Yeah.
Yeah, these are from this dude Dig Dug DIY.
Yeah.
This is like a lo-fi compressor with a sample rate and a freeze, and then I have another one that's like a delay. Man, and I mean, we don't even have to get into these because I got like hell of these.
Yeah, I've gotten into those
The
ones.
pocket
You know,
operators are super fun.
and they sound good too. Like I'm impressed by that. They're like their converters, the DSCs in there. Like
Bro, put them
the
through a sound
samples
system,
you can get
you'll
out
never
of
know
it.
the difference.
Right. Exactly.
Like, yeah, I've done a couple like Instagram live sets on these. I was looking at my post that I've done, and I did a minaret like live like last year around this time.
Oh,
Right.
oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and that was really fun. And yeah, you just hook them up, throw them through some pedals too, and you're dead, you know.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Can't get enough. I want to find a way to like rack those up like really well. Like I was for a while because I have a couple. I think I have like 3 of them, 4, and like I kind of want like one case for them where it just looks like
those.
well,
They're out there.
but like I want to have them like in like one thing where it just looks like it's like one big machine and everything is hooked up to each other. You know,
Yeah.
I haven't seen that quite yet.
Man, next time, every now and then I come across like those things, and I know I've seen some with like at least like 3 in them.
Right.
So yeah, I'll send that to you when I find it.
Hell yes,
Usually
thanks.
just pops across my feed sometimes.
Yeah. Sick.
Well,
Sick.
y'all, it's probably a good time to start wrapping.
Right on.
Thanks to everyone for watching it today. Joris, thank you for being here. Brandon, thank you for being here. Let me get my stream deck back up here so I can give you some claps, baby. And obviously, thanks to everyone for being super fun today.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. And if you're here, make sure we got to. I can't believe I've been forgetting this lately, but where is it? We do have a. Yeah, crank our snares. If you're feeling nice, you can go to our Twitch page and donate some money to the drum stream that keeps the lights on here. Domain names are not cheap, y'all. We do have a website, www.thedrumstream.com. Go check that out. This and all of our other episodes are up there. We'll be up there soon. So anyway, y'all, I appreciate it. And I'll see y'all later.
Thank you.
Sound good? All right.
Peace out, guys.